I will not be held down. I am live.
We're live over here as well. Welcome. What?
We got like a little weird angle to ours on this side.
Do you want me to fix it?
I don't care. I don't even care anymore. It probably
not bad.
No, it's a little this way. It should have been a little bit more turned, but that's okay.
Whatever.
I don't care. Pull the tray at TV.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. You're watching us live right now on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us.
They're watching us live on both?
On both. We need to start getting on the Twitter or the Instagram live too. We need to
We're going to have to set up like 13 cameras across the thing.
No, you connect on Periscope or whatever.
Well, that sounds like technology.
You connect to Horoscope. And
well,
then
since I run the entire website and do all the work, then you can figure out technological advances.
I figured out this much of the technology.
What much?
How to go to Facebook and YouTube Live.
You looked at Facebook and said, oh, I can hit this live button, and I've done it?
Yeah.
You didn't figure anything out.
Yeah, I did.
You just saw a button and you pushed it.
This whole thing was my brainchild. It was. This was all my idea. So anyways, make sure you check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Don't forget, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know if there's another social media we're supposed to be doing. If there is, let me know. I don't even understand how Twitter works. Or
since you're so technologically advanced.
I know you make comments on things.
How many of these different things have you posted on?
I go and like everything you post.
Not everything.
I try to. Well, some things I don't like, so I don't like it.
You're a jerk.
I'm not going to just like things. I got something.
You're supposed to be liking everything that's part of our page.
Oh, I guess I'm supposed to, right?
What do you mean you don't like? What is something you didn't like?
I don't know. If there's a movie I didn't like, I might not.
Well, you're not liking that you like the movie. You're liking that the review exists.
Oh, I do like your reviews. Thanks.
She doesn't read half of our reviews.
I do sometimes.
All right.
But I don't need to because we talk about them live. You know, reading takes a lot of time.
This woman.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching. People are logging in.
Waiting for as Kevin Smith says on his Sunday morning thing, we're waiting for the pews to fill up.
We are waiting for people.
So while you're doing that.
Live now. Ooh, the little upgrade. Look, it's like live now.
I'm going to need a cracker.
Okay, Polly, eat a cracker. Need to put us.
Boom, live cracker.
Okay, make sure you go share, everyone. Share, like, and share. Like and share.
All right,
I don't know where I'm sharing to. We got actually a lot of movies to talk about, surprisingly. Come watch our show. Post. We got a lot to talk about. You would think with the theaters being closed, there'd be nothing to talk about, but there are movies all over, and there are opportunities for movie fun. You can see my legs. I don't like this setup at all. Anyway, thank you so much.
Table back up.
Maybe. Will that help?
It'll block your legs a little bit.
No. Not really. There's
well, it hasn't moved yet.
There's a lot of leg.
Anyway.
Okay, just pull it in. I need to get a towel so you can't see my legs.
What?
I don't know why that bothers me. No, you can still see little brown sticks.
Go ahead with your
I know that's so dumb. It's one of those things that bothers me. You shouldn't see people's legs. Okay, we're going to talk about some movies. What do we want to talk about first? Whoop whoop. What, babe? There can't be silent time on a TV show.
Why can't there be?
Because,
why can't there be a moment of silence?
I mean, you got to tell someone you're doing the moment of silence. You can't just go silent.
Sometimes saying nothing says everything.
All right. What movie did you want to talk about?
Anyway, we saw a bunch of different stuff. We saw the latest that should have been a theatrical release. It went straight to digital this weekend that we paid for once again. We saw a couple of DVDs, I believe they were, Blu-rays. And we watched some streaming, I believe. Excuse me, sorry, I'm tired. So what would you like to discuss first?
Let's just pick one. Oh, I don't want to talk about that one first. Well, I pointed to this one first.
Okay.
So we'll go in that order. Do you have it?
I do have it right.
Okay.
All right. So the first one we talked about, it's actually a movie that came out in 2017. I guess in Mexico or whatever.
Mexico.
Country of origin. But it's just getting released here, I believe. I think it just came out May 5th. I just received it this week, which is why we haven't talked about it until now. But it's a movie called Tigers Are Not Afraid. And if you look at the imagery, there's a kid. It looks like some kind of a ghost. There's a little tiger drawing looking thing here. This is a cool steelbook edition that they put out. It's through Shudder. Shudder is a streaming service that's strictly horror based.
Oh, cool.
So they have original films.
I don't have a cute catchphrase for Shudder yet. So
not yet.
I'll think of something.
You do like this? Like you're shivering? Your Shudder? Anyway, they have a couple. They put out another one called Monsters that came out of Blu-ray. Some of them are original things. Some of them are like original series. They have a lot of kind of stuff. RLJE Films put this one out along with Shudder. But anyway, it's a Mexican-based film. It is in Spanish.
It is in Espanol.
And the funny thing about this was we were going to sit down. She forgot about this. We were going to sit down to watch it. And, of course, we're going to have to read it. And so I understand most Spanish. So I can get through a conversation with somebody speaking Spanish, decipher what they're saying. But I don't speak it. So sometimes it makes it a little bit harder. I can understand what they're saying, but I can't always reply properly. So I was in the middle of doing working on my art deadline. I said, okay, if we're going to watch this right now, I got to stop what I'm doing because I'm going to have to read this movie. So I'm shutting it down. She goes, well, honey, I need to work too.
Duh.
And I'm like, it's in Spanish. Do you need to read the subtitles? And she stops for a minute. And she goes, oh.
Oh, because I'm used to it being like an Asian film that we have to read.
I understand what you meant. It was just really funny because the baffled look on my face had to be.
And I don't like watching movies that, like, if it's in Cantonese, I want to hear the Cantonese.
Yeah.
I don't like hearing the fake English because this is what I've done sometimes is you put it on the English version and have the English subtitles. And what they're saying and the subtitles don't match. Yeah, and you know what? This was the same thing.
Because she said a couple times, and the title of the movie that comes on screen is not the same as
different.
the American release title.
Yeah, in Espanol, it came out as
Revenge or
Vuelven. Ellos vuelven, which means they come back.
Okay.
So.
And then it was in here. Now, given the tigers on our plane makes sense.
I think the tiger name is better.
It makes more sense.
It makes more sense. Tigers are not afraid.
So anyway, the theme of the film is about. It's in Mexico and it's dealing with, I guess, the kidnappings and murders and the violence in Mexico.
From the cartel.
And there's this group of kids, and it's talking about the kids that are left behind when their parents are murdered or whatever, and how they still have to just live there and fend for themselves. Nobody's coming to check on them. There's no kind of thing of like, your parents have been murdered, let's take you into, welfare services and find you a home. They're just living on the street. So it's about this little group of kids. There's this one group that are living together, and then there's this little girl that's by herself. And again, they've all lost their parents, and they get caught up in some stuff unbeknownst to them, and then it goes from there. So if you look at it, it looks like it's a horror film, and it is, but not in what I expected.
Yeah.
The movie's nothing like what I thought it was going to be.
Me
either.
A good way.
Me
either. I thought it was going to be like a legit horror movie.
Yeah, because we even watched it during the day because I was like, will you watch this with me? It was like noon yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, you want to watch it while I stay down? And her answer was like, yes. We'll watch it now.
Yeah, because I thought it was a legit horror, but it's not. And I think what's interesting.
It is horrifying.
It is scary at times. There's a few little things, but.
It's the real life elements that are scary.
That is the horror of the movie, that this is really happening. The amount of people being killed or kidnapped or ransomed and all of these things, it's really happening. And these kids are left behind on the street. They become basically like your homeless street kids running around.
And what's funny is there is a supernatural element to the film, but it is almost the secondary aspect. It gives it that unique kind of twist on this subject matter.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, this movie, we watched the making of, which was even more compelling than the movie too.
Yeah, that was cool.
But it talks about how the rules of filmmaking, and we've talked about some of those. Yeah. So one of the things is you never kill kids on screen. You never do this. You never do that.
You don't work with children. You don't work with animals. You don't do too much CGI.
This movie basically.
It did everything.
Broke every rule possible. And that's one of the things that make it hard for some people, because there are kids that die on here. There are kids that are kind of abused, but it's a necessity for the story it's being told. Yeah. It's not just blatant violence, and it's not just trying to catch the shock and awe of the audience. It's trying to say, this is what happens.
Yeah, and that, I think, is the horror of the movie, the horror of real life, that this is happening, and there's nothing that anyone's doing about it. And, I think we know this up here, but we're not actually experiencing what these people are experiencing. Like, there's no one these kids can go to. There's no social service that's going to help pay for it.
Well, and there's even a scene in the movie where
cops can't help you.
because they're dealing with these specific criminals at one point. They go to the police.
Yeah.
But as soon as the police know who they're dealing with,
they're like, bye-bye, and they just leave. We're not messing with that cartel. Or we hear the stories that the cops are on the payroll, but in this sense, the cops are scared.
Yeah. And it was interesting because there wasn't a lot of the cliched stuff. It's like one thing happens just because somebody's trying to survive, and then somebody else is like, there's even an element where the one guy is like, if you do this, I'll take care of this for you. And he follows through with it. Mm-hmm. But because of the direction they go with the stuff, it becomes even worse.
Yeah. You can't trust anyone.
But I found, and I'm glad we watched the behind the scenes and I read some information, which I was going to tell you during the show instead of telling you when we talked about it.
Oh.
But I'm glad we kind of talked about it because then we watched behind the scenes and you would have known anyway.
Yeah.
But like most of the kids were like barely actors. Like this is their first, if not one of their first projects.
That's the first thing.
And they have to carry the whole film.
Yeah. It's a group of like little kids.
Yeah. And there's no comedy aspect. There's no lightheartedness. They have happy moments. But it's a heavy movie for all of them to carry. And reading about how the fact that they said that none of the kids got the script, they shot it in chronological order so that every situation, the emotions you get from the kids are real because they don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know. They're not like, okay, I know in page 15 I'm going to cry. They have to get to that point. And then in the making of, they were showing them having to send the kids to acting school, and it was an emotional, not therapy, but what's it called?
It was more of a
sensory
therapy thing that they did with the kids. So the main girl, it looks like she's been in 3 things. Yeah. This is like her 3rd thing, but some of the other kids have never done anything. So trying to teach acting techniques to children is different because they don't have, like, if you tell me to cry, I can think of something specific and start crying. I can do it in probably about a minute. But to tell a kid, okay, I want you to think of something sad and cry, they don't get it. Or they don't have anything from their past to bring into. So what they did is they actually blindfolded the kids and they did like sensory stuff. So it's like, doing this kind of
relaxed,
stuff.
How to be angry.
And then how to be angry and how to shout and how to do these things and how to like do the energy stuff, which may seem a little hokey or woo-woo. But I think for kids, they're so receptive that they get it.
We were talking about the fact that kids react to what they're seeing
right there.
Something. So, like, if anybody that has little kids, you've had moments where you might have hurt yourself or you're upset and you cry, and your kid's looking at you, and your kid starts crying, and you're like, "What's wrong with you?" And you're like, "I don't know." Yeah, they're crying just because you're crying. It's not because
that happened when the kids were little.
There's one of my favorite parts of all that is there's 2 scenes in the making of that the director is working with this one little boy who's kind of the leader of the kid gang. Mm-hmm. Not a gang, but the kid group. And at one point, she's got like a punching bag, and she's just making him hit it as she yells at him.
Yeah, because his line is like, "It's your fault. It's your fault." Yeah,
and so she works with him to the point that he's legitimately frustrated and angry.
Yes.
And she's not being like abusive to him, but she's
trying to get
She's
him
also
there.
Not being nice to him. She keeps telling him no, and she's shoving at him and stuff and making him, and then we'll make him say his line and then telling him to yell, and she just keeps. She's really, and then you can see when she walks away from him, they're setting up to shoot the scene. He's leaning against the wall and he's breathing heavy. You can see in his face that he's pissed.
Yeah.
And that
that's what she needed.
He was legitimately angry at that point.
And she was really good. I mean, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff with the director, and like she's grilling them kind of like, okay, well, why does he think that? Well, why do you do that? So they have to know their character and their story. Yeah. Whereas for an adult, you can read it and you can create like who your persona is. Yeah. But for kids, they don't really know. It's amazing.
I'm sure there's a difference if you have like these trained actor kids who've gone through all the schools.
Different.
Then they get how to capture emotion stuff. But these were like raw performances, and every one of the kids are really good. And even there's one little boy that doesn't speak in the movie.
Yeah, he's so
and they have a little side interview, and they're asking him, about himself, and he's talking about, well, I don't talk, but I have to do this and I have to do this because they said my parents are killed, and so I don't talk anymore. And And he's saying it very relaxed, which is showing you, okay, kid's not really registering the importance of that.
Right.
And how sad that really is. And then they tell him how to do it and what he's supposed to do and how they dealt with it. And, you know, when they talk to him, well, how'd you be sad or whatever? And he was saying one of the hardest parts was trying to act like he was hurt. You know, when he was saying, because he gets hurt at one point. He's trying to act like I'm hurt. I don't understand. And she's working with him on how to breathe properly and holding your breath. And you can see that it's one of those multi-layered films it's creepy. It's sad.
It is very sad. This whole movie's sad.
Not in a depressing way. Like, it's not like pull your heartstrings sad. It's sad knowing that these kids are dealing with this stuff and then this is really happening.
Yeah. And
then you have the supernatural side that's kind of cool to watch, but it's kind of creepy.
Yeah. All that stuff was really good. And I liked their costumings and their horror makeups and all that.
Like, horror makeup?
Horror.
Oh.
I've said this before, but when we did our vampire movie, like, I know how much we went through just to create the look of some blood and guts. So I appreciate these people like going and like smearing stuff on people.
And for you don't know that everyone always talking about, yes, we have done films before.
Yeah.
We have like 4 films that we've done.
Yes.
Look for them nowhere.
But I appreciate how much effort they put into making these things look so real, even if it's just for like one shot like this.
Yeah.
But that's what you do.
Well, that was one of the cool things in the behind the scenes stuff that they were showing them doing table reads and reading through the script, not just the dialogue, but, you know, the exterior and interior descriptions. And then they would cut to a scene and you're seeing it play out as they're reading it. But there's one shot where you're seeing this kind of whatever creepy thing this may be, and a character sitting and showing how they shot that. And then when they show, you see the detail that they're putting on the makeup and all this stuff. Then when you see the shot, you don't see half of what they worked on, but you never know what the camera's going to capture. So the detail that it put in was just ingenious.
And then I think the other great part of this movie is the director lady. She's the writer and the director. And she actually used her own life story to capture a lot of this. I mean, her parents are gone, you know, when she was little.
And she said that like her mom had died, then her dad died, and her dog died.
Yeah.
Then she had a bad relationship, all kind of in the same pattern of things. So she said writing this movie was therapy.
Yeah, it was cathartic.
Unintentional therapy. She started writing it because she was in such a bad place and put out. So a lot of this is based on her story in a different kind of way. Yeah. And her country.
Trying to tell the story of her country.
And it was even sadder that the little boy, the leader of the group, in that interview they're talking about, and there's, you know, he talks about how he connected with the director, and he goes, I think we were so connected because, you know, her parents are both dead and my parents are both dead. And
oh my God.
And then he's like, she had to be raised by her aunt and I was raised by my aunt, and we're like, what? The kid can't be more than what, 10 or 11 maybe?
Yeah, he's tiny.
And it's just like, man, this is sad.
Well,
and that's not even in the movie. That's the behind the scene part.
Yeah, and then I was thinking last night about this. This movie stuck with me for a while. So I was thinking about how sad this is. And like, is anybody doing anything for these kids? No, nobody cares. And then I started thinking about all the kids we have in cages.
Yeah.
Well, whatever happened with that? I mean, are they even alive? Are they dead? Did they get corona? What's up with that? And then this totally reminds me, when I was little, I'm remembering now, my dad always wanted to adopt another kid from Guatemala or somewhere because he's like, no, they're poor. They need something. So it's not a new story. This has been going on forever. Children always get kind of left behind because there's no one there to speak for them. Yeah. So I don't know if this movie can bring about some sort of positive change.
It's 2017, so
and their social services.
Yeah.
But
I will say too, it was kind of cool.
How their country works.
It was cool seeing the kids, how they've grown to survive. How this one group has built their own little community.
Yeah.
Of what is it, like 4 or 5 kids?
Yeah.
And they're living. I mean, they don't have a house or anything, but they've built everything.
They should go to one of the empty houses.
Well, I never understood because, like, the one little girl has a house. Why didn't they all just go to her house?
That's what I was thinking.
But at the same time,
because the cartel knew where she was.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was their stuff. Like they built chairs out of tires.
Yeah,
like not just sit on a tire. They built arms on the tire, like tied them together. It was like so clever. It was very Lord of the Flies, Goonies mentality of the group in a horrific situation. But
anyway. You need to check out Tigers Are Not Afraid.
Yes, it is already available on Blu-ray and DVD. Like I said, I think it came out May 5th. but we just got it. But yeah, it was totally not the movie I thought, but in the best way possible. And it says right here on the front, an unsparing blend of fantasy and brutality, innocence and evil, from Guillermo del Toro.
Yep.
He had a cool quote on it. The other one I don't have anymore right now. Stephen King had a little quote on it about how truly beautiful and terrifying he thought this movie was.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's because of, like, I wrote in my review that some of the most terrifying aspects of the movie are the real life parts, not the supernatural parts. Yeah. So that, to me, that's always a scarier movie, when it's something you're watching, like a slasher and all that stuff. You know, there's people that can kill people. The likelihood of Jason running around is slim to none. But when you see something like this, and you know, not only does it can happen, but it is happening, it's way more terrifying.
Yep.
So anyway, Tigers Are Not Afraid.
Boom.
Check it out.
All right. Next, let's go up this way. Tell me about this movie you watched.
Samurai Marathon. All right, Samurai Marathon sounds like a silly title.
It looks really. The cover looks really cool. Whoever
it is, and it is a good movie. I did enjoy the movie.
They look like some tough. She looks like a tough chick.
The cover's a little misleading because it isn't. Well, and I say this this way: it's not as action heavy as you might think from looking at the cover. There is action in it. What it is I think it would have been a better movie had it just focused the majority on that marathon. And what the marathon is it's basically a test of endurance, and it's all these different samurai people that are running for like running a long-term marathon, but they're in their full outfit carrying their swords, and then they turn on each other trying to get to the finish line, so they're killing each other and throwing each other off cliffs and stuff like this. So had they focused on just that and made a little more extended version of that marathon, I think it would have been a better movie. But there's also the big setup of the characters, which you kind of expect. But then there's like different things, like there's one guy who had sent in, I missed part of it, and I'm not sure why. And then at that point, I didn't go back because it was just on the screener and it skipped. It was a digital screener, and then I couldn't get it to go back and play that scene. But there's one guy who had sent a message of some kind of a medicine to send to the emperor or king or something. He realized he sent the wrong message, which was going to be the wrong medicine. It could probably kill him. So, but he didn't have the rights to be in the marathon to get there. So he had to be shenanigans to get in there. Then there was a girl that wanted to leave. She was like the princess or something, kind of a Mulanish type thing. So she disguised herself as a man to try to go. Then there's the old man who's like an old samurai that people think you're kind of done with. I'll take $2. And he's going. So then once we get to the marathon part, it's pretty entertaining and it's interesting. It's not as action heavy as I thought. What I found the most compelling about this thing is it is, a full Asian film. The only English in it being the beginning and the end. I believe there's an English military captain that's meeting with like the shogun or whatever, and basically trying to sell guns or liquor or whatever to kind of make peace or whatever. And it's played by is it John Huston? I think is his name. You'd know him if you saw him. Yeah. He's an American actor. But the movie is directed by the guy that directed an American person who directed the original Candyman movie. So it wasn't even like an Asian directed film. It was this guy, and I was random. Like, what? And he's done a little more than Candyman, but that's the most thing. And he wrote the original Candyman too. But
okay, you've said the name too many times.
Candyman.
No,
Candyman.
Don't.
And we have a mirror right there too.
Don't do it.
So suddenly if I had control of the lights, I'd be hitting the lights out right now just to freak you out. Now, from my understanding, the Samurai Marathon still exists, and it's like a full marathon that people run
with their armor and everything.
Well, now it's a little more like a normal marathon, but people wear costumes and armors and outfits, and
I want my cheese.
It's that, and here's what's cool is the end of the movie. This movie takes place, I want to say, in like 1855. I'm going to look this up right now. I couldn't find any of it. I was having trouble finding anything about it because I was trying to figure out if it still happens or if it stopped at some point. But the end of the movie, it had like, I think it said 1855 so it took place in this 1855. So it's about the very first one. It did a superimposed thing where it shows the samurais, the whole group when they first take off running, right? And it's saying stuff on the screen, and then it merges into more of a modern day group of like thousands of people running, but they're wearing like bunny costumes. Some are in full samurai armor, some are just in jogging outfits, and then it kind of superimposes the original samurais here from the movie running, and then the other one's kind of running at the same time, showcasing how it evolved into something else.
I see.
So it's still a marathon run, but I think they still call it the Samurai Marathon, but they may call it something else now. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I haven't been able to find anything.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's like, maybe it's not a big to do. Maybe it's like a very small thing on some island somewhere that they still do. I don't know. Anyway, the movie's okay. It wasn't bad. It was interesting. Wasn't near as much action that I expected. But I don't know. If you like that kind of anything with samurais, there's samurais and ninjas. I got super excited, and then they weren't ninjas like I thought.
Please know, samurai and ninjas are not the same thing.
Although they are from the same country in this case.
But they're not the same.
They're not. Samurais and ninjas are both Japanese, but they are not the same.
And then and then what was the other one? Someone was something and ninja.
That was the what?
Where there was a ninja, but the guy was saying something about ninjas. I'm like, ninjas are not even in the same country.
No, that's that Bruce Lee movie thing I watched, and they kept saying Bruce Lee was really his grandfather was a samurai, but that's Japanese and Bruce Lee's Chinese.
Yeah. So confusing. Please don't be confused. Get your stuff together.
Yeah.
And anyway, if someone's a ninja, you can't know because they're not going to tell you.
Well, ninjas are assassins.
I think ninjas are all around us. Do you think ninjas are real?
Ninja. Well, I mean.
Do you think there are still ninjas?
There are still people that practice ninjutsu and.
But do you think they're like
Stephen Hayes, who
sent out on missions?
Is an American guy, is one of the most world-renowned per se ninjas there. And then Shokasuke.
But has he been sent out to get anyone?
No, but he runs around training everybody to get everyone.
Oh, well then
I don't think the ideal of the ninja that we know and love exists, but the element of the ninja is still there.
Okay.
Because they have assassins and stuff that they get sent out. They're not running around dressed in ninja uniforms any longer. They're just in a different thing. It's like saying you still have, I don't know, Navy SEALs are running around. That could be the special ops ninja version,
Yes.
But you still have Shokasuke's out there. He's Michael Dudikoff, the American ninja, still out there.
Okay. Well, that's all that matters.
That's for last week, so bringing Michael Dudikoff back into the
Bringing it back. Okay,
right.
Next. What's next on our list here? I posted that. Hold on. We're going in reverse order. There is an order today. We're going this one. Okay, I'm excited about this movie. I hope you guys watched it. Probably not, but you're going to now after hearing this.
Are they?
Yes. So we're talking about a new film called How to Build a Girl, starring Beanie Feldstein. I said it right. Beanie. Beanie's
Jonah Hill's
brother.
little sister.
No, Beanie's brother, Jonah Hill. But no one is the sister or the brother to lesser or greater than.
No, not at all.
That just happens to be your brother's Jonah Hill.
Although it's still my favorite thing is when Booksmart came out, when he said, "I'm Beanie's brother."
Yes, because it was her day. So I had no idea what this movie was even about. I just knew Beanie was in it, and so I'm going to watch it because I loved that other movie with her and Booksmart. Yeah. What's the other girl's name? I always forget her name.
Oh my God! If you hadn't asked, I could have told you. The one from Last Man Standing.
Yes. Caitlin Dever.
Yes. Caitlin Dever was already kind of big because she had been on. Oh crap! I think she was in one of the Paranormal Activities, and then she had done that show with Timothy Oliphant, where he's the ranger. Crap! Now I just went Justified. She was on Justified for a long time.
No idea.
That's why she's not on Last Man Standing hardly anymore either, because she got kind of big with her film stuff, so they couldn't schedule around it. Anyway,
so you need to watch this movie, How to Build a Girl. So how do we explain this?
It's based on the true story of the lady that wrote it. Mm-hmm. It's loosely based on her life. She was a reporter, a music reporter.
Right.
As a teenager, she was like an awkward teenager. In the movie, anyway, I don't know about her, but the movie, Beanie is like this awkward teenage girl trying to find her place. She's kind of got this goofy, weird family.
Yes.
They're all awkward.
They're all weird, but I love it.
But they all love them. Their dad's like an ex-musician, a failed musician, if you will. Mm-hmm. So the music is big in their world. She finally finds her place in becoming a writer for this like grunge rock type magazine in England, I guess it is. London.
They're somewhere.
So she creates a new persona to reinvent herself as this writer. Because every time something is going good, then something goes bad, and she still becomes lifestyle. So she creates this. Nobody takes her seriously, so she creates this new persona, and then her career begins.
Her new persona is Dolly Wilde.
Yeah, and then it goes from there, and she gets sucked into the world of rock and roll and writing and backstabbing and passions and sex and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a excuse me, it's a comedy but a drama.
Someone's like, it's a coming of age story.
It is really that as well.
She's finding out who she is. And first of all, I had no idea this movie was British or English. Or
I didn't either going into it.
So I'm like, whoa, everybody's got a British accent. We're in London. So that's what's happening. So it's like, okay, was not expecting that. One of the dudes from, what am I thinking?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is there.
Are you the one that got his wiener cut off?
Yes, that guy. And then her dad, I recognize his face from something. One of the
Patty Constantine.
Okay.
Yeah, ton of stuff.
Yeah, recognize him.
Chris O'Dowd. He's the one that's in the poetry host.
Yeah.
Which was funny because it was a very small, kind of serious role for him because he wasn't really comedy. He's usually comedy.
And, I mean, there's cameos for different people. Michael Sheen is in every freaking movie and TV show right now. Like, how is this happening? Everything we watch, I'm like, is that Michael Sheen? Even if it's a small part, a big part, he's everywhere.
I think he just likes working.
I think so too, and I like him. I still think
he went from being someone that we didn't know who he was,
best as a werewolf,
and then he was just a no-name werewolf that was awesome. Married to what's her face?
Yeah, from the
Kate Beckinsale. Then she left him for the director of Underworld,
which I would have stayed with Michael Sheen.
And then all of a sudden he's everywhere.
Because she didn't even stay with that guy either.
No, and Michael Sheen running around. He was with Sarah Silverman for a long time. Forget who else. I don't know how that little nerdy guy keeps getting all these people.
I know, because without his beard and all that, he's so nerdy.
He does not.
It's like, I need you to put on the makeup for the werewolf.
This isn't even a Michael Sheen movie, but he had what I call the Robert Englund situation.
Oh, yes.
When you take him out of
that
Freddy Krueger is super nerd, and you take him out of the makeup from Underworld, where he looks like Rob Zombie. And then now he looks like...
I liked him there. Yeah, he looked good there.
Then you look at him and like the way he's normal and everything else, and he's the guy you think you just want to Rob Zombie
he's
with
like
beat
somebody's
up.
Professor.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so let's go to the right movie. Not just
okay, sorry. How to Build a Girl. So, what did you think overall?
I really like that movie.
I like her in this.
I love her and everything.
I do too, but this British accent thing threw me off for a minute. Like, I don't...
It did at first, only because, again, like you, I didn't know it was a British movie.
I was like...
And then I'm thinking, is she British?
No,
because I know she's Jonah Hill's brother, but are they
sister?
I mean, yeah, he was her brother, but are they maybe half brother and sister? Maybe one of her parents is English. I started thinking all these things, or is she just doing an accent? And it took a minute, and then once I got past that, I was fine with it. I loved her in this movie.
I thought she was really good. She's so funny, and I think what I like about her is she's just her, and. She does this cool, like, kind of costume persona change, and she starts dressing really cute and changes her hair and everything. And I think one of the most, I guess, empowering things is that they did not mention her weight at all in this movie. She's a chunky little girl, and she's super cute.
And I like that she clearly has the confidence of who she is, because there's a moment where she's like in a bra and panties type bathing suit kind of secret situation. Mm-hmm. There's kind of sexual.
Well, she's talking about her being a sex goddess.
Yeah, and there's things in the movie that, you can say those things, but to make people believe it, you have to believe it.
Oh, I believe
on some level. And
yes,
she has confidence to be self-deprecating, be confident, be funny, all without compromising anything about herself. And I think this movie. The one thing with Booksmart is that's a co-starring vehicle.
Yeah.
They both carry that movie.
Yeah.
She carries this movie.
Totally.
And she has everything from the laughs to the seriousness. Like when she's having some emotional stuff, like when she's having some of the romantic stuff, you don't ever go, well, why would he be attracted to her? She's fat. And you believe it because of her personality and because of the way she acts, the way she carries herself. I
love it. That to me was empowering on a separate level, because it has nothing to do with the story. And that's what I'm telling you to go watch How to Build a Girl. Mm-hmm. I am telling you, go do it right now. After the show.
It's a great movie.
But you should. I thought it was really empowering. And I did like that it was kind of that coming of age, trying to find out who you are. I mean, and the other thing that's so funny is they sold more papers when she was mean. like nice news didn't sell. When she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I love this," and it made me feel this, nobody cared. But when she was mean,
and see, and that's part of there's a lot of the movie that's kind of cliched, where you know where the story's going to kind of go, you know where that she's going to alienate people because of what she's like. As soon as she starts doing some of the mean reporting, you know, okay, she's going to betray this person and she's going to piss off this person, and we know that's the direction it's going to go eventually. But somehow it doesn't matter because you're so engaged by her performance and her journey that it's okay to know, because when it still comes back, it's more interesting to see how she handles it than what she actually did. You know what I mean? Because the end of the movie is circling it back about the entire movie is about her finding herself, finding who she's going to be, who she wants to be, how she's going to be, and how she's going to succeed, and what's important in life.
Yeah.
And there's like a little fourth wall breaking where she talks to the camera at some point about that. And it makes you understand, okay, this whole movie's journey was this, not what you kind of think it is initially.
Yeah. And I like to, there's a lot of interaction with her crazy family. Because I think that's the other thing that happens to people as you grow up, is your family has to learn who you are.
Yeah.
You know, your
and
parents,
especially if you have success, because then it starts seeming like you're carrying people and ignoring that they carried you by being supportive.
Yeah.
Even though they may not have had money like you have, and they have dreams and hopes. And there's a big element of that in this movie where, you know, they struggle, and because she becomes successful, she starts helping her family because they're close. But then as soon as it makes a different step, she starts turning on it about, well, I'm the one doing this, and you don't do this, and you're this, and you're this.
Yeah,
and
you can't do that.
Kind of forgets the fact that the whole time they were there going, we believe in you.
Yeah.
You know, we're here. You stay living here. We didn't ask you for anything, you know.
Well, I think the other part of it, though, too, from my perspective, is your parents think you are one thing. Like, your parents in their head have this image, probably like little Bobby Blakey, like, but that's not.
Why you always got to bring that photo back up?
I love that. And Bobby's little school picture. Or me even, but that is not who we are. You know, we evolve past that, and then your family learning who you are as you're learning who you are and learning to support that, which we see, you know, afterwards, she's like, okay, I'm sorry, I was a dick. But I think she literally says that.
And I like when you get to that part of the film where, you know, again, there's a lot of cliches, so it's not really a spoiler, but when you get to the part when she starts realizing the things that she did wrong, or the things that she needs to grow from, or the people she hurt, you know, it's about how they handle it in the film, which will make you buy into it or make it work. And 90% of the time, it's like everybody forgives each other and got a happy ending and stuff like this. And sure, there's some of that here, but it's the way it's dealt with that I think made it more important and more effective. Because the one big things that kind of circles back that affects everything, it made her grow, which made this other person realize what they didn't have, and that why this was so important to them too, and how they kind of ended up growing together because of this whole thing. It's kind of the whole movie it was really unexpectedly good.
It was really good.
I think she's better in this movie than she was in Booksmart.
I love Booksmart.
I do too, but not because it's a better movie.
I like the two of them together.
I think because she carried it, and she just once again secured that she has that star power to carry a film on her own.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
I would love to see her and her brother make a movie together, whether side by side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think with both of their humor and both of them being proven that they can be dramatic actors, I think they could make a hell of a movie together.
Yeah. Don't know what it would be, but it's going to be
I don't either.
Cool.
Playing brother, like maybe play some like snooty rich brother and sister that have it all and lose it all and they have to survive together. It's like,
maybe.
Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? Or they could be superheroes. I don't care.
Yeah. Need some cool comedy heist film.
Yeah, there you go.
And who knows?
I'm just a huge Jonah Hill fan.
You know how you're not supposed to be touching your face? I can't help it,
I touch my face all the time.
I have such bad allergies.
You can't have a face like this and not want to touch it.
My allergies are so bad. My eyes itch.
Anyway, How to Build a Girl.
How to Build a Girl.
I believe it's digital.
It's streaming.
You
can find it right now.
You have to rent it. I don't think it's like on Netflix or anything, but you can find it. It's a great movie. You should check it out.
Anyways, thank you so much. Next movie.
I don't know. I'm going by your list here.
Okay, yeah, here it is. This one.
All right. This one I haven't written in.
All right. How did we watch this? This was on the line?
No, this was a screener sent to me.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It'll be available this Tuesday, I believe, through Apple TV and a bunch of other ones.
Okay, there you go. So
it's a film called Body Cam. I have not written a review yet.
I'll just post a link to the IMDb.
It's a movie called Body Cam, starring Mary J. Blige.
What?
What do you mean what?
Is it Mary J. Blige?
Yeah, she was the star. That was the main lady.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention.
I told you that while we were watching it. Anyway,
you're right. I knew that.
It's about these police officers, and they're trying to solve the murder of another police officer, but with a little bit of a supernatural twist.
Yes.
And it is not a found footage film, which I thought it was going to be.
I'm glad
because of the body cam aspect. But the body cam part of it,
you do get body cam footage.
Using the body cam footage of the guy that's killed to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And as other officers are in situations, but she seems to be the only person that can see what's happening in these body cam things.
Because when other people look at their footage, they're like, "There's nothing there."
Yeah.
She's like, "I saw it."
So it's kind of a supernatural thriller slasher because it's kind of bloody and gory at times.
A little bit.
Not over the top.
I don't want to turn you off from the movie though. It's good.
Yeah, it's not overly gory, but
and besides, it's not real.
It is real. It was on the body cam. So
whatever.
Neither one of us knew anything about this movie other than Paramount sent me a link and that
body
was it.
Cameras.
So what did you think?
Well, I didn't know it was going to happen because the only thing you told me is like body cam about police cameras. So I was like, oh, great. Now it's going to be about how cops are bad and what they do to people with brown skin. So that's what I thought we were going to. But no, this is like supernatural. I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but it's good. Okay. So, yes. So our main star is Mary J. Blige. She does not sing. But it's okay.
She doesn't what?
She does not sing in this movie. But I was happy to see the guy from Dexter, the Cuban guy, David Zayas.
He's like the captain.
Love him. He was the captain. Anyway, so what happens is she's coming back from, I guess, being suspended because she punched some guy during a stop, and it was caught on her body cam. But we find out.
You might be surprised to know this, but this entire movie revolved around the body cam.
But we find out a lot of it was her anger and her dealing with the loss of her child. Won't get into all of that, but you need to know that. And so she's back on the beat. She's got a rookie with her.
Beat Street.
And she's got a rookie with her.
Have you ever seen Beat Street?
I have not, or maybe I haven't. I don't remember. And they go out and they get a call that one of the officers is like disappeared. So they go and investigate, and that's when things start taking a little bit of a paranormal twist.
Have you seen Tougher Than Leather?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of this. So, yeah. Crazy things start happening. Police officers start disappearing. And she's trying to investigate and figure it all out. And then that's where craziness ensues. There's like mysterious happenings, but there's no one there. But you can kind of see it in the shadows, and you don't. It's crazy. There's like so much happening. And I've never seen this. We'll have to watch that later. Anyways,
I don't think we have it.
I really dug this movie. I like all sorts of kind of paranormal things, and I believe that.
I believe.
What was it when someone dies a violent death that they come back to get you? What movie was that? I don't remember.
Is it The Grudge?
Maybe The Grudge. It's The Grudge. So think Grudge, but with body cams
and a little more blood.
Yeah.
Because it's not slasher level.
No, not at all.
But there are some bloody moments. You know,
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's
good.
I thought it was okay. It wasn't. It was more than what I thought it was going to be. So that was a good kind of twist. I thought there was a lot of build up sometimes. And to me, it felt like, even though it wasn't very long, it felt slow, like it was lagging a little bit as it was trying to get somewhere. And I think I know that's probably by design, and it wasn't boring by any means, but I think it was part of it because one of the things that always kills me in these movies, and it's always these supernatural or horror type films, you always have to make the hero damaged. And when they're damaged, we spend a lot of time dealing with their drama and their stuff. And sometimes it doesn't serve a purpose for the rest of the movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? And in this case, it does on some level, but it's still like, okay, let's get to it. You know, you already gonna have the people that don't believe her. You already have all these other elements to play off of. So to me, it was like a little slow at times. It was still good. I enjoyed it way more than I thought. It's a little on the lower budget side. It's not one I would think would have ever probably made it to the big screen. I think it was going to always be a digital release. But Mary J. Blige is good in it.
She did good.
I think she was nominated for the other movie I saw not long ago.
With her?
Yeah, and the whole movie I didn't know it was her. It was a Netflix movie, something Mud, I think. Mudbound, I think it is, which is a great movie.
Yeah, Mudbound.
I think she was nominated for an Academy Award for it. Or a Golden Globe or something.
Yeah.
But that was a movie that came out, and this is kind of like this one where you didn't know that was her. I didn't know that was her in Mudbound. I watched the whole movie doing it.
She was in Trolls. Cute.
She was what?
She's one of the trolls.
Oh, I know that. Don't call her a troll. Anyway. But it did win me over in a lot of the elements on how they shot the supernatural parts and the kills, because I thought they were kind of creative. They were fun to watch. A lot of the rest of the movie it's kind of very generic, cliched stuff, but set in an interesting twist on the same thing.
Yeah, it does deal with a little bit of the police officer violence thing, and
it was very much like Black and Blue from the standpoint of it deals with the stuff without being a preachy movie dealing with it.
Yeah,
it's showing some of the stuff bad that happened, but there's also a good side to it. And then in this case, it throws in the supernatural violent element. Stuff.
And I liked the other lady that was in it too.
Which one?
The mom. Was that lady?
Oh, I don't know who she was.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, her. Liked her. So I liked it. It was a good movie. Yeah, it wasn't probably your big blockbuster hit of the season.
No,
but it was fine.
It's a good little rental. It's a interesting direction. It's not one that I think spawns franchise per se, but we don't necessarily need every film to be a franchise.
No.
But it's a clever use of the whole body cam mentality and idea.
Yeah.
And vengeance and corruption and a little bit of everything there.
It dealt with everything. Yeah. So I really liked it, and I think everyone should watch it too.
It's going to be available, I believe, this Tuesday on digital, on demand, whatever, that kind of thing. So you can probably go onto Amazon or Hulu or whatever and rent it. Apple TV, I think. You can rent it that way.
There you go. So check out Body Cam.
So I guess we got one more to talk about.
We got one more. We watched a lot of movies.
We did, and we didn't get to half the stuff coming out this week.
We have like a stack of movies to watch.
Well, I'll be telling some of those of what are coming out this week. So we're going to be talking about those next week. The next one was actually supposed to be a theatrical release, much like Trolls World Tour. It was supposed to be a theatrical release this week. Warner Brothers decided to toss it onto digital so people could go ahead and see it. It was not a movie that I was overly excited about when I first saw the trailer of it, because I'm not a big fan of this franchise, but I'm probably going to have to stop saying that because the last few things that have come out I've kind of dug. But this is the new animated feature, SCOOB, which is the latest film reboot of the Scooby-Doo franchise.
Yes.
But in this case, it seems to be more of a reboot of the Hanna-Barbera franchise.
There's a lot happening.
There's clearly a shared universe being built in this film. So why don't you tell them what it's about? Okay.
I love Scooby-Dooby-Doos, so you need to know that. So this movie is about the beginning of when basically Scoob and Shaggy meet. This is, I guess, a retelling because
I don't know if we've ever been told the story. Did we?
We were told that Shaggy got him when he was a puppy. Got Scooby.
I mean, that's all we know. Was there ever episodes about that or something?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
This is now the meeting of Scooby and Shaggy when they're little. And how they become best friends, and they're always going to be there for each other no matter what. And then they grow up, and then they meet.
Well, when they're kids,
they meet.
Younger kids will meet Fred and everybody.
Fred and Velma and Daphne, and they become lifelong friends. They start Mystery Inc. They're solving crimes. And my favorite thing about this is just the opening credits and the Scooby-Dooby-Doo. They recreate the opening from the cartoon with the this and the monster, and then
the what monster?
That's the robot one on the eye with the eyes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I could do the whole thing for you.
So here's the thing with this movie.
Love it.
Hardcore fans are going to be split. You're going to either be people like her that love the movie, love that they did the opening stuff, but because the first part of the movie deals with solving a mystery, elevating all that kind of stuff, doing all the cliche stuff that we're used to seeing that fans of the franchise love, and then it gets big, and it kind of goes away from the standard mystery solving. I've read a lot of people that had problems with that aspect. They didn't like that it became kind of a superhero flick instead of being a Scooby-Doo flick. But it was clearly, and it's been announced through Warner Brothers, and it's obviously going to be dependent on how the movie does, that they are in fact trying to build a Hanna-Barbera franchise.
Yeah.
And this movie not only introduces multiple popular characters, there's also Easter egg galore of characters throughout the entire movie. Like, I was losing my mind because what's funny is outside of Scooby-Doo, I'm a fan of almost everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm just like every other kid. I watched Scooby-Doo all the time. I don't know why I was not a fan of it, but I watched it all the time. I watch everything that comes out of it. More often than not, I enjoy it. So I don't know what it is.
Fan.
I don't know what it is that I don't know.
I loved Scooby-Doo. Always did. I did not like Scrappy-Doo. That's what I got to tell you.
Scrappy was funny.
Could not stand him. He was so stupid and just caused so many problems.
He wasn't stupid. You just don't like when people cause chaos and trouble.
He caused chaos and trouble, and he always wanted to fight and all that.
That's what I always thought it was hilarious when Scrappy-Doo wanted to fight, because that's why he's called Scrappy.
I know, but I just didn't like Scrappy, so no.
But I don't understand that whole era of cartoons when everybody suddenly had to have children.
Yeah,
because there was Droopy and Son. There was Caveman and Son. There was Droopy and Son. There was Scooby and Scrappy. There was Yogi and Boo Boo. I don't know if Yogi and Boo Boo were always together.
They were always together.
Well, they were together. I don't know.
Who knows? It was just too much. Anyhow, so one of the things you see in the poster, it's not a spoiler, is a character that this dude right here was so excited to see.
The only reason I wanted to see this movie was because of the addition of
the Blue Falcon
and Dynamite.
And then they show up in the
I was a little off-put initially because his costume was different. But it is addressed in the movie.
Yes, it is. It is addressed. Now, did we ever know that this lady existed?
I think she was part of, if I remember correctly.
I didn't watch.
I think that character is actually from Captain Caveman.
The chick?
Yes. I don't remember for sure.
I was reading. She flies the ship, so
I know, and I don't know for a fact. I'm going to have to research.
Oh, well. Anyways,
I don't think she was part of Blue Falcon, but I could be wrong.
No idea. There's so many characters and crossovers of all the things, and like you said, you kind of do have to pay attention. I feel like I need to watch this again. Can I watch it again?
You might be able to still. I think we have 48-hour rental.
Okay, I need to watch it one more time because I think I missed some stuff in the background. That's the thing, is you got to watch everything that's happening on this movie because there's so much in the background that's happening. I liked one thing that was a little bit different was Velma. They made her little hair and eyes cute.
I was right. She's from Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels, Dee Dee Sykes.
Okay, well, Dee Dee Sykes is in here.
I think that was one of those later. It says centers on the mystery solving adventure of the Teen Angels, Brenda, Dee Dee, and Taffy, and their friend Captain Caveman. So. Well,
I was saying they made Velma's eyes and her hair and everything really cute. So she's still nerdy.
I think I said that when she first came out. I was like, man, they made Velma really cute in this.
Yeah, well, and I like that she's voiced by Gina Rodriguez. So there's one thing that she says that's kind of in Espanol, and I'm like, who's doing the voice? So I had to go look. I'm like, somebody speaks Spanish. So I liked it. And I'm not sure that I really like the look of Fred. It's a little bit too changed for me visually.
I didn't mind it because I've had an issue for years, and I saw somebody post about this, that they didn't like that he didn't have his ascot and whatever.
His face is just
that has been annoyed me for years. They were trying to give him the chiseled look, but if you notice, all the men are all drawn with that rounded head. So it's just the art style. But I was so happy that they ditched that stupid.
I was not cool with his look.
Although the ascot does get a nod in the movie.
Yeah, it shows up. Who does his voice? Who's Fred? Zac Efron. So maybe they were trying to go with a little Zac Efron look in it. I don't know. My favorite thing is there's lots of things in the cameo. I don't know. Can we talk about this person being in it?
Yeah, it's not overly important, but I think there was stuff online about it. Like somebody complained. I was reading one review of it saying this is supposed to be a kids movie, and right out the bat it has Simon Cowell, which talking about like he has a cameo.
He's really funny.
There's and it's a blink and miss it lesbian love, and you don't know if they're a couple or if they're just best friends. What if it's literally two ladies that are wearing a shirt that each one's half a heart? They just do this and it makes a whole heart. That's all it is. Cool. There's nothing showing them act like their relationship. There's two kids with clown makeup that are trying to bully Shaggy. They look very much like the insane clown posse makeup. But they were talking about all that stuff and talking about like this clearly can't be what kind of kids movie has all this stuff. And I'm like, I was in from the first shot because the first shot of the movie it starts playing California Love from Dr. Dre and Tupac. Then it obviously doesn't have the actual raps in it, just has the music. But I'm like, this movie's good.
I just want to say, if you're that person, you're a hater. And first of all, kids don't know hate. That's learned. So you're the one that's screwing up your kids.
Yep.
Because I saw this scene with the two ladies with the shirts. I was like, oh, that's so cute. We should get matching shirts.
She didn't.
That was my thought.
She didn't think about it until I mentioned somebody. Man, she goes, I didn't even think about that.
No, because what does that have to do with anything? Your sexual orientation doesn't matter for anything.
Here's also the problem with a lot of reviewers is this other review for this movie I read after I saw it. We're talking about, I know that they're trying to get a new generation to latch onto this franchise that's been dead and gone for a long time, whatever. And somebody commented on like
there's a new movie every year.
Yeah, somebody's like, clearly this reviewer doesn't know that there's been nonstop new TV series. There's nonstop new straight to video movies
every year.
Yeah,
all the time.
Scooby-Doo franchise has never ended.
No.
Maybe it's been changed or altered and done different things with it.
Did they complain about Scooby-Doo meets Kiss?
No, but I mean,
they probably didn't watch it.
They had Scooby-Doo and Kiss, they had the Batman, they had the WWE, they've had all kinds of stuff that's happened constantly.
It has not stopped.
And they still come out. There was a Scooby-Doo Lego movie that came out not long ago, which I enjoyed.
See, you like Scooby-Doo.
Apparently I do.
Anyways, this person was obviously a hater, and I feel bad for their children because they're going to be haters too, unwittingly. Poor kids.
I think there's a misinterpretation because also if you look at cartoons when we were kids, they're way more violent.
Oh,
they're way more
violent and racist. And remember the one where Tom and Jerry had blackface on and the little bones in their head?
That and they're being cooked in pots and
yikes.
You know, and the difference I think is our parents weren't offended by everything. Yeah. They didn't look at it as racist. They just and yes, there was some stuff that was considered funny back then that is really not funny because it's kind of socially, you know, and I get that. And everything is there.
But then again, as a child, were you thinking, oh, that is so racist?
No, when I saw him do the blackface for like say the little native stuff, I was thinking like, they're dressed like the natives.
Yeah.
You know, and I was laughing at their behavior.
Didn't understand that it was racist.
I didn't see it as a black
thing. That
thing.
is a learned behavior.
Yeah.
You know.
And if something like that was like that, and I remember specifically things, my mom was like, don't be laughing at that, or don't say that. That's not appropriate.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. You didn't dwell on it. Let me tell you why. Doing this. You know, I never got a discussion of why Bugs Bunny kissing all the men and everything in every episode was
when
gay.
Bugs Bunny when he dressed up in drag. Like nobody's like, oh, Bugs Bunny is transgender or whatever. Or
if I'm not mistaken, I don't know.
Nobody cares.
It doesn't happen as much now, I don't think.
And I don't think it's our business.
I remember. I don't think there was a boy alive that didn't put on his mom's heels when they were little, wandering around with their big shoes on.
Exactly.
Not because they liked wearing ladies' clothes, because you're putting on your mom's shoes.
Or maybe you like wearing ladies' clothes.
Well, yeah, eventually. But I'm saying, you know, or your dad's clothes. It's the same thing as a kid. You're like, look at these big shoes, you know, or whatever. But
someone's saying, I think it's different for Black or Asian people. When you were a child, please expound.
Well, no, I think what they're saying is when they, like, if the parent sees them making the jokes back then about the racism, then they may have to tell their kids, hey, that's not okay.
Yeah.
That's it. But again, I don't think it was, it's like Speedy Gonzalez is now considered racist.
I like Speedy Gonzalez.
And I don't know a Hispanic person alive that's offended by Speedy Gonzalez.
We all loved it. We were so happy there was a Mexican raton on TV.
Yeah, and is he cliched and stereotypical?
Yeah, very.
Yes.
No, the one that was worse was
Slowpoke Gonzalez.
The one that was drunk all the time.
Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He wasn't drunk, he was sleeping.
No, but there was another one that was always the drunk mouse in the cantina when Speedy would go by.
Oh.
And there was always like
that was when they always had people smoking and drunk but Slowpoke Rodriguez was my favorite.
Yeah. I didn't understand that Speedy Gonzalez was racist at all. I was like, hey, he speaks Espanol. Hey, cool.
There's a thing that and I'm not saying I didn't see
everything can offend someone.
The issues, yeah. And as I got older I realized, you know, the native blackface stuff they used to always do was highly inappropriate.
That's not good.
There's different ways that could have been handled. But as a cartoonist, I understand why it was drawn that way.
They had to
it was drawn. Well, it wasn't drawn necessarily for the race. I'm sure there were some people that did.
probably.
But there's this thing about trying to create a funny image to pop into your face. So if you're saying these are the natives, okay, so we've seen natives, we see them, and some of them have bones in their head or in their nose, whatever. We can't put it to the nose because it doesn't work. So let's put it on the head or whatever. And yes, it comes off racist, but it's also in its cartoon interpretation. Now, if you put it in real life, then it becomes a different level of what are you dealing with? Are you making fun of them, or are we talking about people in the jungle? And
yeah. Well, and that's like if you remember in the Bruce Lee movie when he goes to watch that movie and you see the guy, who was it? Jerry Lee Lewis that did the
Asian guy.
He had like
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
The
Jerry Lewis
big
playing the
teeth
Asian.
I'm like, okay, that is flat out racist.
But again, at the time, not that it was okay, but because of the racism of Hollywood, they didn't have a lot of the black actors, the Asian actors. They were playing the stereotype of what that race is. That doesn't make it okay. That's just the way it was. It's just like you have, who was it? Was it Amos and Andy? Were they the ones that were the white blackface, or were those actually black guys? No, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, there was a lot of comedy troupes that were like that too, that their whole characters were black characters, but they were white people playing it, and that stuff was wrong because that's taking jobs away from it and being racist.
So, they were just hating.
Anyway, let's talk about Scooby-Doo.
Sorry. Scooby-Doo has nothing to do with any of that stuff.
That's like one.
So stop making up lies.
Yeah.
Lies.
I love this movie. This movie was a blast.
What?
I had a ton of fun with this movie.
Is it because it's not all Scooby?
No, I actually enjoyed the Scooby-Doo stuff. I think I would have enjoyed seeing this group of them doing some of the mysteries and stuff. I don't know if it was the animation or the style it was done in. Animated wise, I thought that was beautiful. It was a little getting used to some of the voices because we're so accustomed to
Matthew Lillard.
Well, even before that with Casey Kasem and people like that,
yeah.
that, getting used to that. I was fine with their voices. I know somebody else mentioned they loved the movie, but they had a little problem with, they wish Frank Welker had also done Fred because he does Scooby-Doo's voice. I think in some of the cartoons, he does Fred and Scooby.
Yeah.
But at least they got Frank Welker to Scooby.
Well, back in that time, there were only like 5 people did the voices for every single cartoon.
Yeah, now I don't know if Frank Welker was all the way back. He may have been more the modern Scooby-Doo and stuff. But
that was the one that always tripped me up. In every single cartoon, all the voices were the same.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Anyway.
But I loved the Blue Falcon stuff. I was a little let down. They made him kind of a moron, but I got once you realize, once they did it, he's very chauvinistic and kind of stupid. But they gave him his moment, so it made me happy. There's another character that it's known, and I knew the character was going to be there, but it hasn't been promoted on posters and stuff, so I don't want to say who it is. Yeah. But I thought it was very well handled. I thought it was fun to watch. Not near enough of him in the movie that I wanted.
I know. Maybe he'll get his own.
Should I say who did the voice at least? Without saying that? Tracy Morgan does the voice, and I think he does a good job of it. I hope they expand with that. I would love to see a whole movie with that. I hope we're getting a Blue Falcon. Mark Wahlberg was Blue Falcon.
That's fun. Mark.
Yeah, Ken Jeong was Dynamite, which I thought was awesome.
I love Dynamite, by the way. That's the only thing I do kind of remember Blue Falcon, but I remember Dynamite.
You can't, because Dynamite did a lot of stuff with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I think that's why.
And maybe that's why I wasn't as big a fan of Scooby-Doo, is because I always thought Dynamite was so cool that it had kind of ruined Scooby-Doo for me. But I was always a superhero fan.
I know,
so I was more of
loved this version of Scooby-Doo and finding out how they met, and it's so cute because we deal with a little bit of Scooby's lisp or speech impediment or whatever, because he's like, my name is Shaggy. He's like, Raggy. He's like, no, Shaggy with an S. Yes, Raggy.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what I said.
And I thought it was weird that nobody ever, like the old show, nobody addresses why Scooby can talk.
No, and that's the thing. It's just like, hi, I'm Scooby-Doo. He's like, oh,
everybody just accepts it. I was honestly going to be like, you're a talking dog, and nobody says a word. It's just like, okay.
They'll accept it.
Because even there's a police officer talking to Scooby-Doo about questioning him, and he's answering me. He's like, sounds legitimate to me.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
But it does go way bigger, and it dives deeper into the Hanna-Barbera world, like I said. Like, even the villain of the movie is a well-known villain character with another character that I love.
Yes.
That I wasn't sure if we were going to get to see, and we did, and I was excitable. Because I thought as soon as he popped up, I started ranting and raving about this other character. But then if you look really closely, like on signs on the street signs, on sides of video game machines and magazines and books, things, there's so many other characters sprinkled around to show their existence. And even at the end credits, if you watch the end credits, it shows a ton of different characters, and it kind of sets up what could be something more they do with Blue Falcon and some other new characters that don't appear in the movie. but it's showing, hey, they exist out in this world that could make for a really, really fun, awesome new cinema. I hope this becomes a new cinematic universe, even if it ends up just going straight to video or straight on demand.
Yeah.
And I think it did well this weekend. I think it might have been another
big one for
the
old what was it, Netflix? No, it wasn't Netflix.
No, for
Amazon
digital, just on demand.
Oh, well, who knows? We paid for it. It was worth it. I want to watch it again.
It's $20, but again, both of us got to watch it at the same time. I'm trying to see if it anywhere says maybe tomorrow because those numbers are a little bit different.
Okay.
Because I know Trolls World Tour ended up making like $100 million on digital, which is kind of causing uproar because that's going to change some of the elements of things. But it's also caused a fight between the theaters and the studios.
Yeah, because now they're saying we're going to do a dual release to digital.
Yeah, Universal was talking about that because they're the one that did Trolls.
And so certain theaters are like, fine, we won't play your movie.
AMC and I think Regal have both told that they will no longer play Universal movies, which is stuff like Fast and the Furious and Invisible Man and things like this, that they're saying they'll no longer play them because if they're going to do dual releases, Universal came back and was like, we're not saying we're going to do that with every single movie, but that platform exists.
Yeah.
And especially if this virus, whether you believe it or not, if it keeps going like this for a while, right now we're thinking that we may not open up anything until July in relation to theaters.
Yeah.
Tenet is pretty much hinging on theaters opening up. Mulan is supposed to hit theaters in July. So we only have a month and a half, maybe.
Well, in theory, I mean, the expansion of what's going to open should be coming out next week. Like things can open up more, but
will people go back? That's the other discussion too. But the possibility of home streaming, it's funny, is before theaters closed, so many people complained about how expensive it was to go to the movies.
Yeah.
I don't go to the movies anymore because of how much it costs. Why don't they just put it online and we can watch it on Netflix and this? Now that we're here, tons of people are complaining to the opposite.
It's $20 is too expensive.
Yeah, but $20, two people watched it for the same price it would have been at the theater. We could pause it. We can do whatever we want at home. We have it for 48 hours, so you can watch it again if you want. You take two people to the movie theater and get concessions and watch the movie and gas, time, all those different things. I was able to sit on the couch with my dog. She could work. I could do drawing. We could do whatever we need. Multitask and still enjoy the movie for the same cheaper price.
Yeah.
And that's only if it's a theatrical release. If you're getting like a digital rental, most of them are like $6.
Yeah.
So it's like you go spend money to buy. Like me personally, I want the physical movie in my hand.
I know you do.
That's me, obviously. But if it's a movie that I just want to watch and I don't care about really owning, instead of spending $15-$20 or even going renting it $5 or $6, I can rent it at home.
You can go get a $5 pizza at Little Caesars.
That's right. You have
get your $6 movie, and there you go. Cheap date.
Tired date.
$12.
And if it starts paying off, you're already there.
Hey, yeah, you don't have to drive.
And they thought they give you 48-hour rentals because they know it's only going to take 2 minutes.
Wow. Wow. That's not cool.
We're married. I don't try anymore. All right.
Anyways, check out SCOOB. It's available now. It looks like on our end you can rent on Amazon Prime or wherever.
Yeah, well, I think it dropped on
it.
It dropped on the thing, and this is a Warner Brothers one, so this is the second attempt. Trolls being the Universal, the first one. This is Warner Brothers' first one because Warner Brothers is not caved into because everybody was hoping they would release Wonder Woman digitally and everything, and they said no, we're still holding all these. So this was their first.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think it was a good idea. I mean, people are at home with their families and their kids. This is a great movie.
This might be the idea in my thought process is start taking the animated films and dual releasing them because people that have 3 or 4 kids that they got to take.
That's hard to go to the theater with.
Forget money, just wrangling them all.
No, I'm thinking the money. I mean, 5 tickets. Some 3 kids packs, a large popcorn, some drinks. That's like $60 just in food.
But even forgetting that too, you also have the hassle of getting the kids dressed, wrangling them all through, making them behave. Do all those things and getting the looks from other people because your kid is the crying kid.
No, you get the looks from us. Like, why did you bring 3 kids to the theater? You afford that? That's like $100, easy.
But SCOOB is awesome. I had a blast with it. Again, I totally understand if hardcore Scooby-Doo fans have issues with it on some level. I loved it. I can't wait to watch it again too. If it's still there, we can watch it again tonight.
Let's watch it right now.
Okay, before we lose our 48-hour rental.
All right.
It was $20. Jeez.
Check it out.
The funny movie news I was going to tell you. It's sad, really. It's not so much funny. Is Movie Pass is going up for auction.
What?
All of its left remaining assets are going up for auction. They said the only thing not going up for auction is obviously all the contact information of people, everybody that were part of it.
We dropped that so long ago.
And it's up for auction for $250,000.
That's so sad.
Multi-million-dollar company that was just, and they were the reason that we had the A-list Stubbs Ultimate Pass and how Regal did it, and Alamo had just, that sucked too. Alamo had just launched theirs with the beta testing, and then all this happened.
Yeah, we're coming back. Don't worry.
There was also an Alamo, I think in Arizona, which is a franchise, not like because Austin's the home base for Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah.
So I think all the ones in Texas are corporate owned, but this one is a franchise owned Alamo. I think it's Arizona or Arkansas or something. It's one of the A states. He had like 3 of them. They had to file for bankruptcy.
Oh, that's too bad.
So we'll see what happens.
Maybe corporate can pick them up.
When the theater opens, we'll be back.
We'll be there. We'll wear our mask. We'll wear our gloves. Whatever you tell us, we'll be there.
And anybody that complains, if you're a Star Wars person and you're complaining about having to wear a mask in the theater, shut up, because I've seen you all in the movie theater.
Wear your helmet.
With your helmets and all the other crap on.
Yeah. All the Mandos, they never take them off.
That's right. All right. So there's all kinds of things I think coming out this next week. Not necessarily overly super excitable things, I don't believe, but let me see here. All right. So this week, actually, there's some decent stuff. So this week we have, I think this is perfect. All right. So we got an all new Paramount Presents film that she'll talk about next week, which is Flashdance. It's coming out. Oh, you're doing the dance. All right. So we got Flashdance coming out. You want to tell everybody about the Paramount Presents, what they are?
Okay, so remember, Paramount Presents is a special series they put out. This is movie number 4. They're going through each kind of era of cinema and putting out different movies. So we had To Catch a Thief. We had Elvis and King Creole. We had, what was the other one?
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. Now we have Flashdance. So they're putting out special, like,
I think one of the next ones is Airplane.
Movies of each movie era. So
one of them from their library.
From their library.
We also have this movie called The Postcard Killings coming out, starring Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Famke Jensen,
Papa Winchester,
Cush Jumbo. I don't know who that is. That's an awesome name. Cush Jumbo. But it's called Postcard Killings. It's like a revenge thriller, I believe. We also have this movie called Emma coming out, which is based on the Jane Austen comedy, I think it is. And what is that girl's name?
It's not Poots.
Anya Taylor-Joy. It's the lady from Split with the big eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So Emma is coming out. We also have Ricochet Rabbit. Paramount is releasing a 4K stuff of Top Gun, Days of Thunder, and War of the Worlds all on 4K for the first time.
Tom Cruise stuff.
The Tom Cruise stuff. You have Brahms, The Boy 2 is coming to Blu-ray. It's a sequel to The Boy 1. The Ben Affleck movie that we both love, The Way Back, is coming to Blu-ray and DVD. Dude. Such a great movie. Castle Rock Season 2, which I haven't got to see that one yet. I saw the first season. Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War is coming out.
Me watching that.
We're going to talk about that next week. If you don't know what that is, that's kind of the culmination of all the DC animated movie connected universe. And probably the biggest one coming out this week was the unexpected blockbuster, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, that was actually a really good movie.
It's so good. I read an article that said that Adam Sandler texted or called Jim Carrey while watching Sonic the Hedgehog to tell him how funny it was.
Oh, that's so funny. How cute.
It's an old school Jim Carrey. So if you like old school Jim Carrey, Sonic the Hedgehog worked way better than it deserved to, especially after all the drama with the design and everything else. It's awesome. I love that movie.
They got it together.
Again, another movie that I played Sonic, but I wasn't that big of a fan, but I had a blast with that movie. That's it.
I'll hold my story on that for later. Okay. Coming out on the line. There's a movie.
Which story are you talking about? From Sonic?
Sonic.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. Okay, there's a movie called Inheritance coming out. Don't know anything about it. Somebody named Lily Collins. Who's that? Am I supposed to know? Sandra Bullock's in it.
I think Lily Collins, is the lady that played Cinderella in the live action Disney movie. I think.
Yes, I know who it is. Yes, you're right.
I think that is right.
Okay, there's this fun movie. It's not online. It's limited release. Oh, well. Streaming online, The Painter and the Thief
Sounds ridiculous.
Looks interesting. Also on the line, something called Villain.
I don't know about that movie.
So it's about an ex-con who gets out, is trying to help his family. Don't know.
Oh, I believe Lovebirds is this week.
Streaming online, Military Wives, about some wives in England and their husbands are in Afghanistan, and that's all that shows.
I believe the movie Lovebirds is hitting Netflix this week.
Okay.
Which is the Kumail Nanjiani and Issa. I don't remember her last name. The one that's in the photo. Oh, I guess I could reach over. Issa Rae. Where it was supposed to get released. I believe next week in theaters. I think Netflix bought it. I think Netflix also bought Bad Trip, which is that bad grandpa jackass type movie with Tiffany Haddish and Eric Andre. I think they got that one, and then I think they also got The Spy, the one with Dave Bautista and the little girl.
Okay.
I think all those are getting. I think those are all of them. I think are getting digital releases now.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
I'm
stuff
excited.
going. But we got the movies we just showed you to talk about next week. We also got more screeners to talk about. So we'll have something to talk about one way or another.
We'll find something. We'll make something up. We'll make our own movie.
That's right.
Okay.
We should do a review and talk about one of our movies because we got 4 we made.
We can.
We're going to do a virtual screening of it, let people watch our nonsense.
Sure, we can put it on the line.
I can post it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Would you like to watch trash? I will post it. Anyway, go ahead, lady.
All right. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Woo, applause.
That's new. This new thing was not discussed.
I was doing applause. Thank you so much for watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. We love you. You're awesome. Check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Make sure you're checking it every day because there's new stuff getting posted all the time. We're also on the Instagram and the Twitter.
I'm going to say we have a show Monday and Tuesday, Martial Art Movie Mondays and TV Tuesdays, but we have not been online those shows in a couple of weeks.
You got to remind me.
We've had different things happen. This Tuesday, there was no excuse. We just both forgot because we were so busy with work and some other things going on. The pandemic has caused chaos in everyone's brains. So hopefully we'll be back this week to do the shows. It's not because we have nothing to talk about on those shows. It's just because we've been busy. But I'm going to say I'll be back Monday for another episode of Martial Arts Movie Monday. And I'm going to say we'll both be back for another episode of TV Tuesdays. I
want to be back for TV Tuesday.
But no matter what, we'll be back on Sunday for another episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. And talk about whatever nonsense we come up with at that point. All right? So make sure you hit the subscribe button here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the follow, subscribe, whatever button it is on the YouTube, on the Facebook. And then go to all of our other nonsense. And again, we appreciate everybody. Everybody stay strong. Try to be positive. Wear your mask. Be respectful to each other and be nice. And we'll get through all this together. Or you'll get through it by yourself because we're not there with you. But
that's okay.
You know what I mean. Peace and love.
I have to get up. This requires me to stand up, and I'm stuck in the couch.
Everybody watch her stand up if she stumbles around. All right. Peace and love, children. Bye.